and bienvenidos to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making tacos placeros. ¡Vámonos! The origin of tacos placeros is really unknown, so every person has his own legend or belief about them. The one I'm familiar with is kind of grim. It comes from the idea that these tacos popularized outside Plaza de Toros, which is the bullfighting arena. But some other people believe that it takes its name from the plazas, the town plazas, when on Sunday some street markets will be and people would go around with their families, started in the tortilleria and going around the vendors who would give out free samples. So you would be stuffing your tortilla with whatever free samples you would get and get the ultimate free sample. So beat that, Costco. Anyway, each state, each person has his own variation of this dish. The one I'm gonna make, it's really a great balance between textures and colors. So let's start with it. First, we're gonna make cheese. This cheese I actually made yesterday because I wanted the cheese to be set on the fridge. I made a mistake, but I will talk to you about it when we're back of that video clip. I started by pouring 1 gallon of milk in my pan over medium heat. I'm using full fat milk. You can use 2 and 1%, but definitely the flavor of your cheese is gonna vary depending on the fat content of your milk. I prefer using full fat for this kind of cheese. The goal here is to get my milk to 176 Fahrenheit degrees or 80 Celsius, right where the ring is. You have to keep an eye on your milk all the time and keep stirring. Don't move away or your pan is gonna end up with a chunk of milk stuck to the bottom and you don't want that. As soon as my milk gets to 176 Fahrenheit, I'm gonna add my vinegar and immediately start stirring. You're gonna see your milk change into curds. Keep moving it and turn the heat off. You're not gonna need to be in the heat anymore. Just keep stirring and then proceed to straining it. After straining my milk, I left my curds to sit. I have 2 options for you. I have this mold from Amazon where you put your curds and they drain in whatever bowl you put it in. As you can see, this one is a little bit bigger than my mold, so to catch the liquids. Or a simpler option, if you have a sieve and a cheesecloth, and also put it in a bowl to catch whatever liquids remain. Then I'm just gonna divide my curds into both molds and add some seasoning. You can add your seasoning when you're molding or right after you drain your curds. I forgot to do it, so I'm doing it right now. For my loose curds, I'm gonna use this cookie cutter that I got, and I'm gonna press my top of my mold using some weight. I think I have a little cast iron pan that I can put on it, but you can use a book or whatever other thing you like. As you can see, the bowl underneath is catching all the liquids. Here's my cheese. The mistake I made was not dividing my curds from the very beginning and squeezing out and molding the ones that were supposed to be a panela. Because by letting the curds relax before molding allows this crumbly texture. So if you want a panela from the very beginning, make sure you're compacting them squeezing them out and molding them. So what I ended up is with 2 canastos, one flat and one molded, which is really not a problem. But let me show you. This one, it's so crumbly that it's not even holding a shape. Again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The other one, on the other hand, it's also crumbly, but it has some shape. Again, if you're planning to make a panela, then just make sure you squeeze them and mold them from the beginning. They are both sliceable, crumbly, but most importantly, they are both very delicious. Mm. Mm. But trust me, I have no problem having 2 canastos. Let me put it aside, and we're gonna make one of the main ingredients of these tacos, the guacamole. Guacamole is one of the most exquisite sauces we have, and guacamole in Nahuatl actually means that, avocado sauce. But the fun part is that in Nahuatl, aguacatl, actually means testicle. I'm just letting that sink in. When making guacamole, there are some rules to follow, not just to have in mind that aguacates are highly sensitive. So you cannot leave it outside for too long or make it ahead too many hours because it's going to turn dark and nasty. So you always have to make it fresh. The fresher, the better. Onion. I really like to use red onion because it's crunchier, it's sweeter, and it's really nice. It's gonna bring up the color on your guacamole. Tomato. I like to use Roma tomato. Not just because it's meaty, but also because the seeds are easier to find. You want to avoid the seeds as much as you can because you don't want your guacamole to be very watery. So get rid of the seed as much as you can and then chop it as you would normally. When it comes to peppers, you want to go jalapeño and serrano. You want it spicy. Get rid of the seeds, but don't be too meticulous because you want a little bit of that spice. Now, don't leave too many, otherwise it's going to be uncomfortable when eating. And last but not least, always use cilantro. One of my brothers-in-law, Brian, hates cilantro. He's one of those unfortunate souls that when they eat cilantro, he tastes soap. You know what? It needs cilantro. Guacamole has cilantro in it, so use cilantro. Now, when it comes to avocados, I'm using Hass. You want to make sure they are dark, firm, but not rock hard. Once you have them at home, take up the stem and check the color underneath. It should be green. If it's yellow, it's not ripe yet. If you have unripe avocados, then put them in a dark spot, either a paper bag or a drawer. That's going to help the ethylene gas to release, and that makes them to be ripe faster. Grab your knife, carefully the end of your knife, and get rid of your seed. Now there's 2 ways. The unsafe way that I always use and the safe way to chop your avocado. Let's do the safe one first. Cut it in half. You love the skin. I love when this happens. It's just so sexy. And here's the unsafe way that I use the most often. Just be careful. Don't do it. I'm showing you what you should not do. With your spoon, get it all out. let's smash our aguacate. If you don't have a molcajete, don't worry, you can do this in the bowl you're gonna use and use a little fork and gently smash it. That's another rule. Your guacamole should never be liquid. You need to see the bits and pieces. It has to be creamy, but not a mash. And there we go. Let me bring a bowl to mix everything. You could finish mixing your guacamole in a bowl and then plate it in your molcajete if you have it, but it really is up to you. And in there go cilantro, red onion. Let's add our peppers and tomato. Don't be too rough when mixing. Again, you want to see the colors, you want to see the ingredients. Don't make a mash. And you can adjust if you want more onion, if you see that you need more tomato, if you need more avocado because you went too crazy with everything else, then by all means, go ahead. Some of the rules to follow with guacamole: no garlic, no parsley, no oregano, no cumin, please. Those things don't belong in guacamole, all right? Have it in mind, please. We need to juice it up. Depending on how juicy your lime might be, one is normally fine, but you may find that half of it is enough, or you might need more than one. Salt. Always add a little bit more of what you need because avocado really consumes it. So you're gonna need a little bit, pinch more than what you think you need. This is sea salt. Pepper. And to make this creaminess extra, I like to add a little bit of olive oil so it emulsifies with the lime. Okay, I think I'm gonna try it. More lime. Okay, like I said, wait to make your guacamole to the last minute. If you're gonna take it somewhere, put some clear film touching the guacamole and then your lid on. Once in the place, fluff it up a little bit with a fork and you'll be good to go. Don't worry, it won't last long enough to get dark or anything. Let's make an easy salsa for our tacos. I grew up in my dad's restaurant, and their most popular salsa was the easiest and most simple of them all. It was basically just jalapeños, water, and salt. Every time they would try to pizzazz it or add something to it, people would complain. And if that's all you have in your fridge, that's perfect. Trust me, it makes an amazing salsa. But for today, I'm gonna be a little bit step up. So, jalapeño, some seeds, one serrano, cilantro, take that, Brian, a small part of the onion that I got left, one small clove of garlic, chicken bouillon, splash of vinegar, and water. Let's transform these ingredients into a salsa using the force. There you have it. Just transfer my pork rinds into a Ziploc bag Don't judge me, it's store-bought. This is the closest I can get to chicharron. And they're small enough, but not just yet. So, with a good hammer, give it a little whack. So you have smaller pieces, but not powder. And it should look more or less like that. So we have guacamole, we have the queso, we have our cheese, guacamole, salsa, chicharrón. What's next if not assemble? And here's everything. If you want to be fancy, tell your friends you're throwing a taco charcuterie party and have them over. So, my tortillas just made. Let's get one. Never the first one. Some guacamole. Check this out. Isn't this cute? I got it in a thrift store and obviously broke it immediately after. Chicharrón. Little bit of our cheese. Honestly, add everything that your heart desires. Everything goes. Salsa. Don't want to make a mess. Lime. And something you must know if you're ever eating tacos in the street. Get your pinky out. It holds the back of your taco. Mm. 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 It's perfect. Guys, throw your party. Invite your friends and share these amazing tacos with them. Just like this video, like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues. Mm.